Cool, stream started. Sorry I'm late. I worked really late, so I figured I could start late and it wouldn't matter too much. You guys will wait for me because you guys are true fans. My schedule doesn't have to be super tight. I wish I could choose. Hold on, maybe I can right click that. Nope. I'm gonna start playing around with like saving actual video file of my stream so I can make higher quality clips and so on and so forth. Right now I'm having a little trouble trying to figure out where to go to save video on. I have multiple memory drives on this computer. I have my solid state boot drive, but then I have an internal HDD and I have an external HDD that I've been putting all my games and photos and all that stuff on. Because I didn't think that was a problem I'd ever have, is just like running out of room for stuff. I've gotten a little bit more room since I uninstalled Warzone because I'm never playing that game again. Activision Blizzard sucks for reasons that you should know about. I'm sure. If you're not hip or you're watching this video like 5 years in the future, just Google Activision Blizzard scandal, and I'm sure you'll find whatever it is that you're curious about. Yo, what's up, Jenna? Thanks for the like OCAT Gaming. Make sure you follow OCAT Gaming on Facebook. I got a blue raspberry slushy from McDonald's. Don't judge me. Thank you for the like, Jelani. I appreciate you. This is another stream where I don't really have any news prepared. So I'm going to Google while we sit here. And lo and behold, the links I want to go to are all New York Times, and that stuff is paywalled. You're here for the blue raz part? Yeah, that part. Speaking of which, let's take a sip. Oh my goodness. How have you guys been today? What have you guys been up to? You guys had a good Monday, August 9th, in the year of our Lord, 2021. We're all going to die. So I saw this on Instagram today in the stories because I'm a boomer and I see things on Instagram before I see them on TikTok. But I just want to talk about, if I could just like riff for a minute, if I could talk about how cringe like the hardcore scene is, like hardcore music. What's up, Cherie? So, for those of you who don't know, it's hardcore punk. It's like a subgenre of the whole punk genre. As you know, there's different subgenres of genres. Like there's different types of rap, there's different types of R&B, there's different types of like electronic music. There is different types of punk rock music. What the fuck? Hold on. I don't know what the fuck I stepped in. That's gross though. Sorry. I'm gonna go hand sanitize my hands really quick. That was gross. Hang on. All right. I was like, it wasn't gum. I felt it sticky to the little plastic mat that I. Maybe it came from Micro Center. Who knows? And it just was there this whole time, and I never noticed. But I peeled it up off the mat, and it was really sticky. And I was like, "Ew, gross! It's gum." But then it was like too solid, too cohesive to be gum. I was like, I have no idea what this is. It's really sticky though. It's gross. It reminds me of like them sticky hands you get out of the like quarter machine. So yeah, so anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, I was talking about how cringe hardcore is. So and I say this totally like non-cynically or from a place of superiority, being a recovering metal fan myself, a genre that is equally matched in its cringe only by the hardcore scene, I feel like. So just like with metal, there are certain things in hardcore that are literally only acceptable within the context of that scene and are under any other circumstances like completely unacceptable conditions that are just kind of reinforced by the inherently elitist nature of the culture, right? So just if you are a music fan, thank you for the like, Carmen. Excuse me. Imagine God, let's imagine going to like a Katy Perry or a Kate Bush concert or something like that, right? Just something completely like as tame as you could possibly imagine, like vanilla, middle of the road. And um you're at this Kate Bush concert, right? And what do people do at concerts? They dance. Now, that word is subjective, and I'm not even making this a white people thing. Me being the prime minister and chief ambassador of the rhythmless nation. But the term dance is very subjective when it comes to the things that people do with their bodies, but also that in the context of the music that it's being done along to. So, imagine you're at a Kate Bush concert and there is a man that looks to be in his early to mid 30s cuz he's definitely bald. He's wearing a champion snapback to cover his baldness, but he is 1000% bald. And he has two giant X's tattooed on the backside of either of his hands to signify that he does not smoke or drink alcohol or do any illicit drugs, but is absolutely swinging for the fences and being as terrible a human being in almost every other imaginable way. So, you watch this person in the midst of the dancing absolutely flatten, and I mean just cock back and blast a teenage girl in the middle of the dance floor, right? And no one is bothered by this. and you know, just to throw out there, rest assured that this is probably not the only context in which this individual smashes teenage girls, just to get that out of the way. But you've watched this person do this to this poor sap in the middle of the dance floor. Unbeknownst to you, this person probably in real life, being a man, is close friends with rapists or some form of like other weird like gross degeneracy, like trying to spit game at teenage girls, that sort of thing, right? And mind you, what I said earlier about the X's on their hands, they probably also like their job descriptions, like their primary career choices are tattoo apprentice and cocaine dealer, right? So they've got that going for them. And they then, in the midst of whatever it is that they're doing, then crack you in the face and drop you and knock you unconscious. And um, you awaken from your torpor and you inquire bystanders as to what happened, and no one can tell you anything, only to find that you are missing teeth. And that's cool. And when you raise concern about your current situation, everybody just informs you that you shouldn't have been up there where people were dancing because if you didn't want to spend $6,000 on dental implants that night, then you shouldn't have been up front where people are dancing for a $20 concert ticket. So, yeah, it's absolutely hilarious to me. Um, where people are like, yeah, if you don't want to get hit, then don't go up front. And this is supposed to be like really super inclusive and diverse music. So like I guess just like if you're in a wheelchair or you have like you're missing a part of your skull or something and you decide you want to see your favorite band close to the stage, then yeah, you're shit out of luck because that's where people go to practice their karate moves. Yeah, the guy that's like trying to drink a drink. He's like trying to drink a drink, like probably doing security or something. And I can tell you from experience that like those people have absolutely no problem and no scruples about hitting security when you're literally just there trying to do your job and prevent the specific type of shit that they're in there doing. But yeah, it's odd to me because that's the like under what other circumstance would that happen to you and you not be ready to commit full on armed robbery after that? You know what I mean? It's just funny to me. But yeah. And it's like and the crazy thing is that's like base layer. That's like not even so like when you're into black metal, you actually have to kind of dig to find the like Nazi Yahtzee black metal. You know what I mean? You have to dig to find the Yahtzee stuff. And it's like under several layers. But with hardcore, that's like a barrier to entry. Like if you're not down with just getting absolutely cold cocked at your first ever concert that you've ever been to, then it's not for you. You should get more into a different style of music where people don't punch each other in the face. Like I said before, these are people that probably are probably friends with cops in real life. And it's just like, out of all the people in my life that I could punch and just absolutely blast and destroy, I'm going to do this to like teenage girls that just want to see a band play. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there because hardcore is cringe in a way that's like maybe a little different from metal cringe, but at the same time a little bit more severe. Oh boy, that sounds interesting. I'll take a look at that. Um, uh-oh. Uh, that looks interesting. That is probably relevant and pretty nuts. I think I'm actually going to lead off with that. Oh my god. I'm going to talk about COVID a lot, probably, because this is like silly at this point. Like, it was always silly, but this is like just not even silly, but just straight up like malicious. Like, it begs one to wonder if whether it's done intentionally or not. You know what I mean? But hang on. Let me X out of and or move some of the rest of the stuff. That's not really relevant. Robert Durst going to trial. I don't know if you guys know who Robert Durst is, but he's going to trial at like 78 years old. Wild. Very wild. All right, so here we go. You guys ready? Ready for some news? And naturally, the thing that I wanted to talk most about is paywalled. So let me see if I can find another source. Okay, cool. Oh. No, I go to Yahoo News. They won't paywall or complain about ad blocking. Here we go. Now I'm really a boomer because I'm on Yahoo News, but here we go. All right. A federal judge asked prosecutors. This dude looks heated. Oh, yeah, he looks pretty mad. That caught me off guard. But anyway, a federal judge asked prosecutors why the Justice Department is seeking just $2,000 from alleged Capitol rioters while U.S. taxpayers are paying more than $500 million for insurrection-related costs. A judge questioned why Capitol riot defendants are paying less in restitution fees than U.S. taxpayers. On Monday, Chief District Judge Beryl A. Howell called the DOJ's repayment proposal a little surprising. Howell has previously expressed concern that lenient deals for defendants could encourage repeat offenders, as if this wasn't already going to always happen anyway, given the social climate of the United States of America. A federal judge pressed prosecutors for answers on low restitution fees required of Capitol rioters during hearing on Monday. Chief U.S. District Judge Beryl A. Howell of Washington, D.C. asked why. Did I already read this? No, I read that. In June, prosecutors estimated the total amount of damage done to the Capitol grounds during the insurrection at $1,495,326.55. A nice even figure. Jesus, dude. Though few additional details were provided. Assistant U.S. Attorney Clayton Henry O'Connor told Howell on Monday that the government would provide an explanation for how it determined the cost of the damage before October, the Post reported. But legislators have already allotted millions of dollars more than the estimated $1.5 million to cover the cost of damages from the insurrection. On July 29th, Congress passed a $2.1 billion with a B security bill that included reimbursements for the National Guard, Capitol Police, and Capitol security improvements totaling $521 million, $70 million, and $300 million respectively. So maybe this really was back to blue after all. Maybe they were like bashing those police officers with back the blue flags until they were rendered unconscious because they knew that the cops would just get like billions of dollars worth of funding after an event like that happened. Who knows? Conspiracy Theory Kev up here on endlesscemetery.com. Monday's plea hearing was Glenn Wes Lee Croy, a 46-year-old Colorado man who admitted to entering the Capitol building on January 6th. During the hearing, Howell wondered aloud why reimbursements for the National Guard are not included in defendants' restitution fees, according to HuffPost reporter Ryan J. Riley. Wild. They're talking about how this could be a circumstance that arises every 4 years. Wild. That's not a good sign. I don't think that's very good. It's probably not good. All right, so I guess I'm going to talk about COVID now still again. So Governor Abbott asks hospitals to delay elective procedures as COVID cases surge. Oh my goodness. Texas Governor Greg Abbott announced several new initiatives Monday to help address a surge in COVID-19 infections, including asking hospitals to delay non-essential medical procedures in order to free up hospital beds for COVID-19 patients, and requesting out-of-state medical personnel to come help with the surge in cases. Sheesh. Even as Abbott now makes moves to counter the coronavirus surge, he remains staunchly opposed to public health measures that would mitigate the virus spread. Naturally, he's like, oh my God, we're getting clapped by COVID, please help us. But at the same time, he's like, no masks. The vaccine is made out of soy, and if you let them inject you with that soy, it will turn you trans and autistic. I just, it's, this is such, it's weird that when conservatives talk about clown world, they're talking about like trans people and black people, being allowed to do things and live and survive, and not talking about stuff like this. Um, oh my goodness. The measures did not in July. Abbott issued a statewide ban on mask and vaccine mandates on July 29th, saying the path forward relies on personal responsibility. Texas schools are also not required to conduct contact tracing. What? Oh my God, dude. How did like this is what I'm talking about. Is it's like, how is this not done on purpose? You get what I'm saying? This has to be, it's like, and I guess it's calls into question uh the maxim, I guess. I can't remember what the official name for it is, but it's like, um never assume malice where an ignorance will suffice. But at the same time, there's ignorance that is so sufficiently advanced that it's indistinguishable from malice. You know what I mean? And on that note, let's hear what Governor Ron DeSantis has to say.
I'm going to make a few other comments
Why is this
about a different subject, and
only in
then
my left
take a
ear?
couple questions.
Is this my mic?
There's been a lot of talk with respect to the COVID positive test and things like that. And I think it's important to point out, since we did our seniors first vaccination effort at the end of last year, beginning of this year, we've seen between a 70 and 75% reduction in mortality year over year compared to last summer's.
And just to pause him really quick, this is part of exactly what I was talking about, where it's just the move and the Republicans. So, and make no mistake about it, the Democrats, aside from a select few, the squad and like Bernie Sanders, I would imagine, the Democrats they'll hesitate against this for a while, but they will do the absolute exact same thing given enough time. Make no mistake about it, where we're just normalizing the spread of COVID and people dying from COVID. The way that he's talking about this now is like, we've actually had a 70 to 75% reduction in mortality, right? And he just straight up hand waves away positive cases at the very beginning of his speech. Imagine if you had a doctor talking to you like, I mean, yeah, you have cancer, it's cool, it's whatever. We'll get rid of like 70 to 75% of it. It's always going to be there, but don't worry about it. It's cool. Like, absolutely insane. Like, here's an illness, like I've said from the very beginning, that had our government and our political systems done what they should have done in the very beginning, which is, obviously I'm not expecting them to like completely dismantle capitalism overnight or anything crazy like that, but like give everybody enough money to pay their bills for like 3 weeks, if you don't even want to do a full month, maybe like a month and a half, and don't let anybody go anywhere. Everybody has the shelter in place for that period of time, and this would have been over with. people just wouldn't have come into contact with each other enough to have the spread as much as it would, to get all these variants and stuff, and it would be pretty much over. But we couldn't turn the capitalism machine off for just 3 weeks. We had to have things partially open and make exceptions for certain businesses and not others. And then we have these just absolutely psychopathic people who didn't want to wear masks and are now against the vaccine. And some of those people have power in terms of like petty bourgeois power, like small business owners and stuff like that. But make no mistake about it, Governor Ron DeSantis, I would be absolutely shocked if he was not vaccinated, if he did not wear a mask every fucking where he goes, if he did not stay away from large crowds, so on and so forth, right? Just like with Donald Trump, just like with all these people. Depending on who you ask, and this is the running gag, if you need to have the vaccine to get somewhere and someone asks you if you're vaccinated and you say no comment, you're probably not vaccinated. When you ask a Republican if they're vaccinated and they say no comment, it's because they got the vaccine. They are not stupid. They're pretty good at playing like they're stupid, especially when it comes to the effects of some of their policies. And on the slightly less further right side, it's not the left side because it's the Democrats, but they're also super good at thinking their opposition are stupid as well, for no reason, completely underestimating their opposition. But at the same time, it's really not that, because they stand to gain whether they win or lose, because they're completely out of touch with the American people as well, for the most part. And of course, I mean all of the American people, trans people, black people, immigrants, indigenous people, so on and so forth. But anyway, I went off a little
Wave, as well as in the January peak. We've also seen almost 25,000 fully vaccinated people test positive.
And get ready for this too.
I think we had assumed that it would provide more sterilizing immunity.
Right. So that's always been wrong. Absolutely always been dead wrong. The vaccine was always designed to mitigate symptoms and spread. There is no vaccine on planet Earth that 100% eliminates your ability to get whatever illness that vaccine is designed to combat, right? So, assuming that, and this is like part of what like Jean-Paul Sartre said in The Anti-Semitic Jew, is like, they don't have to like recognize or understand words themselves, right? Like when I say the word vaccine, or when you, like, I'm assuming if you're in my audience, you're kind of like me, and you graduated past 11th grade biology. But when you hear the word vaccine, it makes you think of being exposed to a small, maybe dead amount of a virus or illness that will make you build antibodies that will better equip you to fight that illness should you come into contact with it, right? So that's what a vaccine is, and that's what we understood a vaccine to be. But because Republicans are banking on the utter anti-intellectualism and just downright science denial of their base, they can at the same time use scientific jargon and also eviscerate all meaning from that jargon to sound smart, but also understanding that smart is not good to these people, right? So a vaccine can instantly become like a SCP red pill that automatically cures you or completely prevents whatever disease that is related to COVID, right? And when it's not this magical invention that the people who never understood what vaccines were in the first place think it is, then it doesn't work at all. Why even get it, right? If you can still get COVID and you could still spread it even if you're vaccinated. What's the point of getting the vaccine? Even though 99% of the vaccine, of the COVID-19 deaths are unvaccinated people at this point, even though like 97% of the hospitalizations are unvaccinated people, you can get it anyway. And that's even if you're vaccinated, so you might as well not get vaccinated. Also, I'm sending you back to work. I'm sending your kids to school because you just have to deal with it. COVID is just here now. We could have prevented it, but we didn't. So now it's just here. So just deal with it and go back to making me more money. And as a matter of fact, you can't wear masks. If the schools that your kids go to, that your kids can't get vaccinated, even if they wanted to, but the schools that they're going to, if your teachers make them wear masks for their own safety, then their salaries will be withheld, because wearing a mask is just SJW virtue signaling. Because, yeah, just like the vaccine, you can also get COVID even if you wear a mask. But also, COVID isn't even really real. It's not really that big of a deal, except for when it is a big deal, when we're trying to make it out to be a Chinese bioweapon that was intentionally spread to America to affect their standing in the global marketplace. When it's that, then COVID is really, really serious and a really big deal. But when we're talking about you going back to work to make my stock portfolio go back up a few points, then COVID's not a big deal. So you should just go to work and get it and then give it to your whole family. But anyway.
The positive tests, and people are like, well, why is this happening? I was vaccinated, it shouldn't happen. And all I can tell you is what the data we see and the hospitals we talk to all point that this is helping reduce dramatically mortality, particularly among our most vulnerable residents. You can still test positive. I think we're seeing that. But at the end of the day, really turning this in from something that was much more threatening to, say, a senior citizen to something that is more manageable, I mean, that's a huge, huge thing. I mean, we have a 90% reduction plus in mortality in long-term care facilities since we went into those at the end of last year, beginning of this year. So yes, there are positive tests among vaccinated. At the same time, the mortality and all the data is very, very clear. And so we think doing the seniors first was the right thing to do, and we think the fact that even amidst a lot of positive tests, you still see much less mortality than we did year over year. That's important. So
we've only been this a year and a half.
Test positive, but I do think the severity has been lessened, and I think these hospitals would all say the same thing in terms of what they're seeing. In fact, they're seeing a much lower median age. And I think it's because so many of the elderly, we basically protected the vulnerable very quickly. 91% of seniors, according to CDC in Florida, have gotten at least one shot. If you look 50 and up, over 75% vaccinated, and then many have recovered from COVID. So you're looking at well over 80+% that have some form of protection. Also worth pointing out, place like Miami-Dade, Jackson hospital system, one of the largest in the country, their COVID positive patients are about half of what they were during last summer's wave right now, the census. Now we have other parts of Florida where it's exceeding what they had last summer, but I do think the fact that Miami went.
What a slimy politician. He's like, in this one county, there's actually less cases, so you don't have to pay attention to all the other counties where the numbers are blown out and just completely red.
Summer. But I do think the fact that Miami went through a wave. I think you have a lot of population immunity. I do think you have good vaccination. That is just the reality that we're seeing here, and so I think that's a positive sign. So going forward, we're really looking at to me, the best indicator, I know the media fixates on cases, but the best indicator is the emergency room visits for COVID-like illness. And when you see that go up,
which is silly,
you're going to see increase in prevalence and an increase in hospital.
It's silly because you can't. The reason why measuring cases is important is because obviously, if you go to the hospital because of COVID-19, it's because somebody gave you COVID-19. So it's probably important to keep track of the people who have it and make a big deal out of more people just simply having it because you can be sent to the hospital with it. Like, I don't get how, like, I understand how, because we've already talked about the anti-intellectualism and the science denial, but it's frustrating to me how we're still having a conversation about we're still pretending like we don't know how lethal the disease is or how serious it is, right? It's still a phase even after a year, over a year in at this point, with over 500,000 dead, where we're like, but how dangerous is it really? We should pay attention to just people who's going to the hospital, because it must not be that serious if you can just have it, not understanding that even if you get it, if you have a crazy case, even if you don't go to the hospital, that's time that you have to take off of work. Even if you don't have a crazy case, you have to isolate, right? Or else you'll give it to someone else that might have a crazy case, that might have to go to the hospital, that might die because they're unvaccinated. But anyway, this is we understand why it's silly.
Admissions, when that levels off or goes down, all the other indicators follow that. And so we follow that very closely. It went up very sharply throughout most of July. Towards the end of last month, it started to stabilize. We've basically been plateau. So we're looking to see that roll over. And when that rolls over, I think you're going to see some of the other indicators roll over as well. But at the end of the day, having protected the vulnerable, having protected seniors, we do have the data that's saying this is reducing
Also,
the
hang
potential
on.
severity of that. And
Just because he keeps harping on data, does anybody else find it ironic that a lot of the like conspiracy nutters that you know in your life that talk about how the COVID numbers are fudged in terms of the number of people that have died and number of people testing positive and number of people hospitalized, how the numbers are fudged, like increased to make it seem like more people have it and it's more dangerous than it is, when you literally have people like Governor Ron DeSantis manipulating the data to make it seem like cases are lower or deaths are lower or the disease is not as serious, basically. It's a pretty sick irony, but
so these things come. You know, we have summer season for whatever reason in the Sun Belt and particularly Florida. You know, we'll nose over and go. It will probably come back in the winter just like last year, not as much as the Northeast, but we'll see. But at the end of the day, I think ultimately the numbers speak for themselves in terms of the severity.
That's crazy,
and the
Algal.
fact that we're down so much, both in nursing home and in the broader senior population, and so that's a really, really good thing. Happy to take a few questions.
I wish you could hear what the people are asking him. I feel like that's done on purpose.
Such as? Well, like I mentioned, we are watching the CLI. That is plateauing. The hospital admissions have slowed. I don't think we've reached the peak yet, but I think we're going to settle in hopefully this week or next week. But in terms of shutting down, we're not shutting down. We're going to have schools open. We're protecting every Floridian's job in this state. We're protecting
and people are
small
clapping.
businesses. These interventions have failed time and time again throughout this pandemic.
Because they were never implemented properly.
They have not stopped the spread, and particularly with
Are you kidding me? New Zealand. Okay, I got it. Because, okay, the reason why these interventions have failed is because they're not implemented properly. Like I said before, just the restaurant exceptions are so silly. Like, you have to be wearing a mask indoors at all times unless you're eating, right? What the fuck? You're in a restaurant. You're going to be eating the whole time you're in there, conceivably. What are you going to do? Fucking have your mask on your chin and pull it down in between bites and chew like a cow, chewing a cud underneath your mask? Like, this is why the interventions failed, is because they weren't true interventions. They were half measures that were designed solely to not have to compensate the small business owners for having to maintain payroll. This was part of what PPP is and stuff, right? But furthermore, beyond that, New Zealand had like 0 cases, I think, or they've like been done with their whole COVID thing. They did what every other country probably should have done, which is said, sit tight, don't go anywhere, have some money so you can like order takeout or whatever, have groceries sent to your house, whatever, whatever. We're going to have everybody hunker down and we're going to ride this out. It's going to be a rough month, but when we come out the other side of it, it'll be much better for everyone, right? Like I said, the United States of America could not turn the capitalism machine off for just 3 weeks. 3 weeks is all it would have taken. And, I digress.
Didn't stop it before. It definitely ain't going to stop it now. And so I think it's very important that we understand that. The best defenses we have,
And just like that's that. Yep. And honestly, we should be doing more interventions now. We should be legit as serious as we were when we first heard about this last year. There should be shelter in place orders. There should be a federal mask mandate. There should be a federal vaccine mandate. It should be like sending people door to door with vaccines is exactly what should happen, right? But if you ask a person like this, the government sending people door to door with free vaccines is actually fascism. It's fascism. When you indiscriminately kill unarmed black people in the streets and lock them up disproportionately just so that they can perform slave labor to make the state more money producing things like license plates, paper towels, so on and so forth. That's not fascism. That is actually capitalism being extra capitalist. That's the most capitalist capitalism to have ever capitalisted a capitalism in the history of the universe, right? That is the machine functioning smooth, oiled, and squeaky clean. But the instant that you have to do something that might actually benefit your neighbors or humanity as a whole, well, that's fascism. Why wear a mask? Masks don't work. You know what I'm saying? Why do I need to wear a mask when masks don't even work? The vaccine was supposed to be a cure and it didn't work. So why do I even need the vaccine? None of this stuff works. Everybody's going to get COVID anyway. The people that are going to die of COVID were always going to die anyway. So why shut down anything? Open everything back up so that your mom can go to Red Lobster with no mask on and give your whole family COVID and kill your grandfather. Just welcome to America. Freedom. My freedom. It's absolutely nuts.
Natural immunity that's been built up.
Isn't communism when you capitalism? Yeah.
Vaccination efforts. I think that's why you have such a steep decline in mortality year over year. And look, at the end of the day, would I rather have 5,000 cases amongst 20-year-olds or 500 cases amongst seniors? I would rather have the younger because of the effects.
Yo, he literally just trolley problemed the fucking COVID.
In the right way to go, and I do anticipate us monitoring those indicators, but I think it's important to point out because
it's so wild when they admit stuff like this. He was literally just like, you know what? There was this magical mystery third option that I didn't tell you about. That would be to protect everyone across the board, but I can't get the bag that way. And me getting the bag is more important than your whole family. So you and all your friends can go out there and get COVID working as line cooks and servers and grocery store attendants and nurses and, EMTs. You guys, you go out there and go get all that COVID. We're going to have all these people that weren't going anywhere really realistically anyway. We're going to have them hunker down and, they're all going to catch COVID anyway because the nurses they all got COVID are going to be attending to them. But we decided that this was the best possible solution because we decided at the onset that us needing to keep everything open because that's how we get the bag. You were going to get COVID, but we decided to make the more vulnerable population, the less of you, not get COVID, and the rest of you can have all the COVID. You're welcome, by the way. You're welcome. Capitalism.
You try to do this stuff. And when they'll talk about hospitalizations, our hospitals are open for business. Like I said, Jackson, the COVID patients are half of what they were last year.
That's one
Even
county.
In places that have more, COVID patients represent a fraction of the overall hospital beds. And so I don't want to see a repeat because of some of the media hysteria with people who have heart problems or stroke are not going in to get care. That happened in March of 2020 and in April. There was a huge decline in people who would show up to the ED.
We literally just read an article about how Governor Abbott is mandating that people that have non-essential surgeries have to wait now because they have so many people in COVID like beds. But anyway,
literally people are having heart attacks at home because they thought that there weren't either not enough room in the hospital or they thought that they would get COVID and die as a result of that. So we don't want to follow that. People should be good. You should go. And then I would say just the broader public, particularly our seniors, who've been vaccinated. I think the data's clear. You may test positive. We hope that wouldn't happen, but the mortality and all that is dramatically reduced, and so you do have protection. So the evictions moratorium was not something that the state, it was imposed by the CDC. And I don't think that they had authority to.
He's talking about evicting people?
As much. They didn't terminate it. They said if it goes out, then that's fine. But at the end of the day, it's a similar issue to the cruise ships. The CDC shut down our cruise industry for over a year.
He's like the governor from Jaws,
with no
the
end
mayor
in sight,
from Jaws.
And they had no real plausible way to go. So we sued CDC for the cruise. And when we filed the suit, people said, oh, it's a stunt. It'll never work. We won in the district court.
Holy shit, dude. Okay, so imagine there's a global pandemic, right? There is a global pandemic disease that's clapping everyone, sending people to the hospital, seniors, the most vulnerable and prime demographic of people who go on cruises are getting absolutely detonated by this disease, right? And the federal government, not even the federal government, an organization funded by the government whose one job is to prevent this type of thing from happening, they step in and they say, no cruises. Are you nuts? This is a giant petri dish full of the exact type of people that this virus is most likely to kill. Why would you do this? Please, for the love of God, please stop. And you sue the government to continue doing it, and you win. Capitalism.
A tremendous opinion by a great federal judge. They then appealed CDC to the 11th Circuit. 11th Circuit put a stay on that decision. So that would have basically reimposed the CDC rules pending appeal. We appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court, and incredibly, the 11th Circuit reversed itself. And so we've won that case. I know it's on appeal, but I think it's going to be moot by the time it gets there. So it's a question of, do these unelected agencies have the ability to do this without any legislative authorization?
Also, just really quick, imagine being asked a question like this. Imagine equating evictions to going on a cruise. Like somebody asks you, yo, so are you about to throw a bunch of people out of their houses? Because the CDC said you shouldn't do that because people being out on the street and near each other is probably going to give them COVID. And you're like, well, the CDC also told us not to send old people on cruise ships. And we sued them and won. And we did it anyway. So guess what?
And I think in a constitutional system, the answer has got to be no. And I think that they overstepped their
my constitution, brother.
I think they overstepped their
my freedom.
Cruise ships.
The new report on climate change. Yeah, I actually have that queued up next. I'm not going to waste. Oh, there's only a minute.
Suggest that. Do you know if they were wearing masks?
Oh my God! See, here's that.
Right, they're not
anti-intellectualism.
I mean, that's not. I mean, well, so you're blaming the kids saying they weren't wearing masks and so they're in the ICU. With all due respect, I find that deplorable to blame a victim. Who ends up...
Are you fucking kidding me? Yo! Yo! This man is like, hey, if you make the kids wear masks, right? If you make these kids wear masks, we're going to withhold your salary. And then the kids don't wear masks and end up in the ICU. And somebody asks you about that. And you're like, how dare you blame those kids for not wearing masks? When I specifically instructed their teachers not to make them wear masks. How dare you? What an evil person you are. What is this? Oh my God.
You don't know their story. You don't know what happened with that. And this has been a really negative thing throughout this whole thing with some of these quote experts, some of the media somebody contracts a highly transmissible airborne virus.
How did this dude be
Here's
Andrew
having done
Gillum?
something
Like
wrong.
Florida? See, this is
And
why we
that's
need
just
to
not the
wall
way
off
you
Florida.
do it. When people come in, you treat them. We obviously have some people that are not vaccinated that have been admitted to hospitals. Are you going to sit there? Are you going to sit there and criticize, or are we going to try to treat and try to help the folks?
See?
I'm just sick of this judge. I'm sick of the judgment. The
Smallest
judgmental stuff.
smallest fiddle in the world. Hey guys, you guys focusing so much on us creating the conditions by which people can contract and be hospitalized and potentially die of COVID. You guys focusing on that is kind of really insulting to the people that are in the hospital with COVID and need treatment. Can't we just focus on treating the people that have COVID and are suffering from it because of the things that I did?
On some of this stuff, nobody's trying to get ill here. Okay, it's a very there's people.
Nobody's trying to get ill, but our
and
representatives are going out of their way to make us ill.
Okay, so let's just be real here, and let's not indulge these things that somehow it's their fault for not doing it. So okay, we'll see you guys later. Thank you.
Yeah, he realized that was some heat after that. He was like, all right, I'm starting to sound silly. I got to get out of here. Oh my goodness. Late last month, DeSantis, hold on, I'm going to show you guys this. Late last month, DeSantis issued an executive order that prohibits county school boards from imposing masking requirements on students. And last week, the Department of Health and Department of Education okayed emergency rules to allow parents to make the decision for their children to wear masks. In an email, Andrew Spar, president of the Florida Education Association, the statewide teachers union, said DeSantis needs to set aside his political goals and focus on the safety of our students. He must listen to the people who are ultimately responsible for the overall health and well-being of all students and stop these heavy-handed tactics, he added. He can do the right thing by not playing politics during this public health emergency. Requests for comment on DeSantis' announcement are pending with the Florida School Boards Association and the Florida Association of District School Superintendents. So that's nuts. You have the president of the state teachers union being like, for the love of God, please make these kids wear masks. At the very least, do not stop us from making these kids wear masks. And he's just like, dude, are you kidding me? The kids are the best people to have COVID because they'll survive. It's cool. The COVID doesn't kill the kids. We don't know that for certain because we don't have the numbers on that because we refuse to acknowledge or even adequately monitor those numbers. But, since we don't pay attention to kids that have COVID, that must mean that kids don't get or die of COVID. So, yeah, why play politics about this? Just send them to school with no mask on, and then you can get COVID and give your whole family COVID. But in a related story, Arkansas has just 8 ICU beds available as the state had its largest increase in hospitalizations from COVID. Because that's the thing, you don't get hospitalized right away. You know what I mean? Like, it takes a little while. You got to let that COVID really marinate. You know what I mean? Twitter stepped in early Thursday morning to block the Uncle Tim label that began trending following Senator Tim Scott's rebuttal to President Biden's address to a joint session of Congress. And it's really unfortunate that GOP mega donors flocked to Tim Scott building 2024 buzz. Major Republican donors are sending big money to Senator Tim Scott. Oh, I wonder why they were calling him Uncle Tim. I wonder. I didn't hear about him interrupting or rebutting the president's address, but is this going to be, he's a Republican senator, is this going to be like a Herman Cain thing again, where the Republicans throw gobs of money at this clearly terrible colonized man so they can be like, see, we're not racist here. This guy is black. You know what I mean? He hates black people, but he's himself is black. So that means it's not racist. And then he just like gets clapped from COVID. So, the world is nowhere near the end of the COVID pandemic, says famed epidemiologist Larry Brilliant. His name is literally Larry Brilliant. Come on now. Come on now. I'm going to
The
talk
reason
about
we call
climate change
it
after
the
this.
forever virus is that it will become something like influenza, which is also a forever virus. It doesn't mean that it will occupy our attention and take all the oxygen out of the air and dominate the conversation forever. But this new variant, the Delta variant, it's different. When you and I have spoken before, we didn't deal with a virus that had a 3.5-day incubation period, and every case led to 8 more with exponential growth.
Sheesh.
This is maybe the most contagious virus that we've ever seen in living memory. That's the bad news. The good news is the vaccines are holding up. The mRNA vaccine, the J&J
Ben
vaccine
Carson
in
is
particular,
just boneless Herman Cain.
they promised us 95% efficacy, and they delivered
Tim Scott is just
better
boneless
than
Ben
that
Carson.
if the definition of efficacy is keeping us safe, keeping us out of the hospital, keeping us alive. However, there's 2 other kinds of efficacy, and that is keeping us from getting the disease and keeping us from giving the disease. The Delta variant depresses those 2
Final
ends
form
of the efficacy chain. So good news on keeping us safe and healthy, not so good news on infectiousness and spread.
Yikes.
Maybe you can give us your thoughts on what is behind the fact that we've started to see in recent days case numbers in both the UK and India of the Delta variant suddenly dropping off. What do you put that down to? And is this something that we can latch onto as some encouraging news?
Yes, our models also, looking at San Francisco and New York, also predict a inverted V-shaped epidemic curve, going up very quickly and coming down very quickly. And if that turns out to be true, it will follow the science that says that this disease is so infectious and is so rapid to infect everybody that even including that some vaccinated people are also
on Twitter.
infected, it basically runs out of candidates to be infected very quickly. That may mean that this is a 6-month phenomenon in a country rather than a 2-year phenomenon. But I do caution people that this is the Delta variant and we've not run out of Greek letters, so there may be more to come.
Damn.
This one may be rapid and rapidly spreading, but the next one may have a different characteristic.
Damn. That's scary as hell. Yeah, that's pretty wild. The racism is I don't know. I don't know if I have a problem with a Republican South Carolina senator who interrupts the sitting Democratic vice president or sitting Democratic president, ostensibly what I'm assuming is on the, hold on, before I make this judgment. Okay. So, when you have when you have a Republican South Carolinian senator, right, with all of these GOP mega donors absolutely bukkakeing him with money because he had the gumption to confront the sitting Democratic president and say, you know what? I don't think the American people are racist. I can't say I have a massive problem with the narrative being spun that would subsequently lead to a hashtag Uncle Tim trending on Twitter. It is a little gross if there were white people, participating in that, but I don't acknowledge that part of Twitter. I like Black Twitter, so free Mr. Bond. George Floyd was a monkey? Nah, that was your mother. Her monkey was super wet. Black Twitter is racist. How? What power does Black Twitter have? Other than the power to get you mauled in a random Twitch streamer's comment section. Hashtag burn, loot, and murder. Is that what the Europeans did to the rest of the world? I have black power? Yeah. The black power that I have is called my ability to make your mother hit high notes that she'd never reached before, that were never before documented by mankind. Jews? What about the Jews? You about to say some anti-Semitic shit in here now too? Was your mother Jewish? Is that why you're mad? Jews rat the transatlantic slave trade and keep you poor. There's not a single... First of all, I really wish you understood English, because then you might be able to spell a little bit better. But also, there's not a single part of that sentence that's true. They took European names. No. Unfortunately, your grandparents probably took European names when they got off at Ellis Island. About the black slave owners. I do. I talk about the police all the time. I only care about the 3% whites. Do you understand? Why are you doing this thing where you're pretending like chattel slavery is just like all the other slavery that existed throughout humankind? Are you stupid or are you a liar? I'm inclined to believe it's a little column A, little column B. Slave markets were closed on Jewish holidays. Well, your mother's legs weren't. That's good eating. Free myself? I live free. I don't have to live with the absolute crushing burden of anti-Semitic and white supremacist conspiracy theories rotting my brain and melting it and causing it to leak out of my ears. Not an argument. Nothing you've said in this chat is an argument, my friend. You need to stop watching Stefan Molyneux. It's killing your brain cells. I know you think that your skull is larger than mine just because I have melanin in my skin, but dude, just say the N-word. Why are you such a coward? Just say the N-word, dude. Misplaced rage. Where's my rage? I'm perfectly calm. You're the one that's coming into my chat hurling racial slurs, my dude. It seems like you're the one that's got a little bit of misplaced rage. I'm privileged? Yeah, I'm super privileged. Your mother's pussy is a slam dunk. I love that shit. It's been a privilege and an honor to be able to bottom your mother out every fucking weekend. How you like that one? Is that what you came here for? Whites freed us from Jew slave owners? Yeah, that's what the Civil War was about. The Civil War was actually white people fighting against the Jews. Oh, man. We all know how much those people in the South love Jews, right? You gave us something other than a mud hut? Nah, we gave you baths, my friend. There was this thing called the Bubonic Plague that absolutely clapped you motherfuckers because you guys didn't understand what soap and water was, and you thought that you cured illness by cutting a dove's head off and sprinkling the blood around. Real wild, huh? Yeah. How about that? I know you're bald. Does your mother know you're on the computer talking like this? We still eat each other in Africa? You literally fuck children in your church. Your church literally fucks kids. They have to spend millions of dollars a year to tell their like families whose kids have been fucked not to talk about it. You're actually black? Yeah, I'm sure. You're actually black. Because you said you're black, so that means you're black in real life, just like I fucked your mother. So that means my dick is still, right now, currently dripping with your mother's pussy fluid. Stop spreading anti-white Jewish propaganda. Okay, I'll get right on that. I'll get right on that. So overly sexual, just like the Jews. I asked if your mother was Jewish earlier. The jury's out on that, but she's definitely overly sexual. The way that she absolutely gobbled my children. Their homosexuality normalization is fucking your race hard. So many gay blacks, LMAO. You do understand that, first of all, every single country in the entire world has had gay people in it. Indigenous cultures don't even acknowledge that there's only two genders. But also the fact that you might, if you think that homosexuality is like something bad, I have some bad news for you about some of your favorite Greek philosophers. Unless they're all just secretly Jews, you know. So what are you upset, what are you so upset about, Free Mr. Mond? Are you just like a high school kid, or are you an actual adult this molding? Because like you're like 32 and haven't had sex in like 15 years, and you know, you're tired of black people protesting on TV. I'm not helping any race. That's, I mean, cool. I don't even acknowledge race as a concept. But the Jews, lol, you're a master still. Can you answer a question for me? How are the Jews simultaneously so weak and so strong at the same time? I don't get it. If the Jews were so inferior, how are they in control of everything? And how are they convincing all of the scary brown people to like fuck white women and cause miscegenation? Probably not human. Nah, I don't think you're human, honestly. I think you're a bot. I think you're an NPC. You're just like one of thousands of internet Yahtzees that can't, are just completely lacking in self-awareness. Look what there is. Absolutely, I promise you, my guy, because I've done my research on my history. There is nothing remotely Jewish or anything Jew involved with any of the people in my history. I can tell you that some Scottish people owned my family, and some Germans. They were slave masters, and they owned my ancestors. But I don't think that they were particularly anyone of Jewish descent or culture in my family history. My ancestors are turning in their graves. Yeah, because I'm fucking your mother and she's white, and they're upset with me for my. I gotta tell you, white women are my kryptonite. I can't resist a fine white woman, and your mother has an ass that will not quit. But I will time you out. I'm gonna time him out. He's timed. I can only get white girls with mental issues. I mean, you got me there. You got me there. All right, yeah, now back to the news. So before I was so rudely interrupted, don't ban him because it's gonna be funny when he comes back. I mean, yeah, that little that bit about me getting mentally ill white girls or whatever. That was heat. I won't lie. He got me there. He got me there. That was a deep cut. I'm a little upset about that one. Anyway, so oh man, uh, um, Here's some key points from this environmental thing that happened. Global surface temperature was 1.09 degrees Celsius higher in the decade between 2011 to 2020 than between 1850 and 1900. So that's kind of wild. That's wild. The past 5 years have been the hottest on record since 1850. The recent rate of sea level rise has nearly tripled compared with 1901-1971. Human influence is very likely, as in 90%, the main driver of the global retreat of glaciers since the 1990s and the decrease in Arctic sea ice. And I also want to modify that, because when we're talking about human influence, we're not talking about homeless people. We're not talking about indigenous people that have ecology as part of their culture, right? We're not talking about like powerless people like you or I. We're talking about major polluters, multinational corporations, the United States military. That is the human influence that is driving climate change. It is virtually certain that hot extremes, including heat waves, have become more frequent and more intense since the 1950s, while cold events have become less frequent and less severe. The new report also makes clear that the warming we've experienced to date has made changes to many of our planetary support systems that are irreversible on timescales of centuries to millennia. The oceans will continue to warm and become more acidic. Mountain and polar glaciers will continue melting for decades or centuries. The consequences will continue to get worse for every bit of warming, said Professor Hawkins, and for many of these consequences, there's no going back. That's so crazy. When it comes to sea level rise, the scientists have modeled a likely range for different levels of emissions. However, a rise of around 2 meters by the end of the century cannot be ruled out, and neither can a 5-meter rise by 2150, which is absolutely insane. Oh my goodness. Such outcomes, while unlikely, would threaten many millions more people in coastal areas with flooding by 2100. One key aspect of the report is the expected rate of temperature rise and what it means for the safety of humanity. Almost every nation on Earth signed up to the goals of the Paris Climate Agreement in 2015. This pact aims to keep the rise in global temperatures well below 2°C this century and to pursue efforts to keep it under 1.5°C. This new report says that under all the emission scenarios considered by the scientists, both targets will be broken this century unless huge cuts in carbon take place. Wild. Projected annual average temperature change relative to 1850 and 1900 at different levels of global warming. That's nuts. Quite nuts. Sheesh. I know that dude is molding in here because he can't talk, but he's just sitting here watching my chocolate loveliness on screen. Oh my goodness. Let me just also, while we're here, let me just get him good and molding, because I know he's probably still watching, and let me just toss a Black Lives Matter out there. Black Trans Lives Matter. Black Trans Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying? Homosexuality is not a sin. You feel me? I support my LGBTQIA plus community. I support my black community. Trans women are women. Fucking Donald Trump lost the 2020 election. He is not coming back. What else gets these dummies molding? What else gets them real mad? COVID is real. Abolish the police. That's a good one. Let's see what else can I say that's gonna get this dude molding. What other NPC dialogue trees can I hit with this fucking dummy? Let's see. Mountain Dew is not the best soda. Mountain Dew is actually a shit tier soda. It's pretty trash soda actually. What else? Let's see. COVID, yeah, wear a mask. You should be wearing a mask. He ain't watching. Let's see. Let me see if he's. Nah, yeah, he left. He's mad. He was super mad. Oh yeah, Jewish people are cool. Check the viewer list. Yeah, that's what I just did. I just checked the viewer list. See the users in chat. My Nora team vibes, getting the Yahtzees extra salty. If you're wondering why I keep modifying my language like that in weird ways, it's because um there's weird little like trigger words and stuff that you can say on TikTok that will ruin your engagements and your exposure. And I am, I guess, a TikToker now, so yep. That dude was really that's honestly that's a first. Like for Twitch, normally it's the YouTubers that are you get what I'm saying? Has anybody else been in here when the YouTubers have come in and said that kind of stuff? Cuz I was not expecting that from a Twitch viewer. But here we are. That's good. It's good content. That's some great content. I'm sure I had some heat for that dude while he was in here. I can't wait to go back and clip it later. Put it on my TikTok and or my Instagram. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram. I am only 38 followers away from being able to stream live on TikTok. So if you could tell your friends to follow me on TikTok, that would be cool. The Ice Poseidon raid, yeah, that was wild. I'm chilling. It was a long day at work, but I'm home. I'm chilling now. I had some G Fuel. Shout out to Saving the Bees. Hashtag Saving the Bees. Our boy Platanos got some G Fuel, and it's just starting to kind of wear off, I think, and it's cool. It's gonna be a decent week. How many followers on TikTok do you need to be able to go live? You have to have 1,000, and I have 962 right now, I believe. So, I'm trying to make it a thing where I'm not like begging people to follow me on TikTok. I'm genuinely trying to put content on my TikTok that's like actually interesting. And I feel like a lot of stuff I talked about tonight will probably be good on here. Like I clip a lot of my news stuff. I at least try to. That's why it's cool when like shout out to Algal my pal or Geninator or like any of you guys whenever I say like cool or like relevant or funny stuff. I can just go back through my clips and then I can just download that off Clipper XYZ and put that on my TikTok. So I'm really trying to synergize, and I also have this like really neat camera gimbal and stuff. I want to do like cool like walking through the woods, talking at the camera, like straight up like vlogging stuff for TikTok and for YouTube as well. So oh yeah, Key. I get that it's advertising, but I'm just saying like a lot of people when they ask you to follow them on TikTok or that sort of thing, it's like kind of trash. You know what I mean? And I say that lovingly with the most constructive possible criticism. Like it's trash. If my shit was trash, I would want someone to tell me that it was trash. And the shit is trash a lot of times. It's just like people trying and failing to do like different TikTok dances and like weird ass makeup tutorials and stuff. It's just like it's trash. The makeup stuff is actually pretty cool. I'm definitely interested in that, but like it's gotta be different. It's gotta be unique. And a lot of it is just like stitch stuff, and yeah, sometimes TikTok's trash. Oh, he's back. He's back. Jews hate you. They think you are the dogs of humans. Why are you so cucked? That's not true. One of my best friends is Jewish. Matter of fact, he's in this Twitch chat right now. Big Richard Lizardman is Jewish. He doesn't think that I'm the dog of humans. I kind of think that's what you think. I think that's projection. They sterilize us upon entry to Israel. They sterilize us here in America, dude. They sterilize us upon entry to jail here in America. Rabbis admit this. Well, so the weird thing is, and I'm not sure if you know this or not, Free Mr. Bond, but like, not all Jewish people support Israel. Weird concept, I know. Uh-oh. Did he catch the hammer? Oh, whoops. He's that mad that he waited all that time. He waited 600 seconds, 600 whole long seconds to come off of quiet time and just continue with the Yahtzee NPC dialogue tree stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna be on my Blair Witch vibes, bird. I'm gonna be doing some Blair Witch stuff. It's like, nah, and you guys can tell me if this is something you could be interested in or something that'd be cool or not. I actually want to do. I really want to get into Civil War history because I feel like in like popular culture and conventional culture, the Civil War is not really understood to the degree that I wish it was understood. Like people like us, we all know it's about slavery, yada yada yada. But like I kind of want to go over like different battles and that sort of thing. More specifically, I want to talk about Maryland. I want to go through because the area where I lived was actually crucial to excuse me, is crucial to the Civil War. It's crucial to the Union troops. They set up three forts in the area that I grew up. One of them was called Fort Dix, and it was on the Thomas Viaduct, which is the oldest operating stone bridge for trains in the country, possibly the world, I think. I'm just going to give you all a little bit of kind of personal history. It's not really personal history, but this is from the area that I grew up here. I'll show it to you guys. The Thomas Viaduct spans the Patapsco River and Patapsco Valley between Relay, Maryland and Elkridge, Maryland, USA. It was commissioned by the B&O Railroad, built between July 4th, 1833 and July 4th, 1835, and named for Philip E. Thomas, the company's first president. It remains the world's oldest multiple arch stone railroad bridge. So yeah, it's the oldest one in the world and it still works. How long did you time him out for? Oh, you banned him. That's funny. I hope he appeals that ban. I can't wait to look at that. Is this talk about Civil War history at all, or just the commercial history of it? Yeah, this is just commercial history. Let me see if I can find anything on like specifically about Civil War. But yeah, I want to talk about Maryland and the role in the Civil War and stuff. Oh, you reported the dude too? Weird. What's up, Vulcan? How you doing? Good to see you in chat. Free Mr. Bond. That dude was a molding. I'm still tripping about that. Like, I'm doing all right, Vulcan. There's just this like Nazi fucker in here that we just had to ban, and that's why I'm just like that's so wild because for the life of me, I can't recall any other Twitch commenter that's been like that. Oh, happy birthday, Vulcan. But so I'll probably do I'll do so this here I'll we could check this out really quick just on stream right now. But I want to do like YouTube content, like YouTube format, and then I guess like short form like TikTok content on this. But this is probably also going to be like a stream at some point that I'll do, just like with everything. But so here's the Civil War history of the Thomas Viaduct, which is the bridge I was just telling you about. I would have lived in actually not far from the area where they're sitting right here. But The B&O Railroad was the only railroad into Washington, D.C. until after the Civil War, thus it was an essential supply train route for the Union during that time. To prevent Confederate attack or sabotage, the Thomas Viaduct in Washington Junction, the 6th and 8th Massachusetts Regiments, as well as Cook's Boston Artillery Battery, took control of the railroad junction, Relay House train station, and the Thomas Viaduct on May 5, 1861. The Relay House itself became the occupying Union Army headquarters. So this is, like I said, this is near where I lived. I've actually seen the Relay House. I've never actually been inside it because it's a private residence now. It would be cool in the future if they made like a museum, or at least, you know, did put up like a plaque or something. But for right now, there's not a whole lot to see because, like I said, it's a private residence and it's a nice area, so they will call the cops on you if you try to go there. But actually, this is the Elkridge side. I'm sorry, they're on the Elkridge side of the bridge. So this is on the. I would have lived like in this area over here in this picture. But I guess those the old timey photos. And yeah, this used to have 2 sets of tracks. I guess they made it only one. It goes out to Cincinnati? Wow. To Chicago. I wish I could hop on a train from Baltimore to Chicago. That would rule. So this is pretty cool. So yeah, that's something I want to do. Yeah, it'd be cool if you stream with a cam. I'd definitely check it out. Alrighty. So I think that's it for the stream tonight. I'm probably just going to go to bed soon. It's pretty late. I don't really feel like gaming. I still got the new controller. So God willing, next week, next Monday, I will do a Mortal Kombat tournament. If they're still even doing that. I hope they are. But yeah. Thanks for the stars, Key. Everybody make sure you follow OCAT Gaming and follow Keyblade Warriors on Facebook. They're really dope streamers. If you like my stream, you'll probably like their content as well. Friday the 13th. I should do Dead by Daylight. That's not a bad idea. I might do... Yeah, I think I'll do Dead by Daylight. We'll play Deadies Friday. Deadies sounds fun for Friday the 13th. Matter of fact, I'll see if Pixel Paws... If Pixel Paws isn't busy, I might do some Deadies with Pixel Paws. I would play the game Friday the 13th, but I never learned really fully how to play that game. I wasn't huge into it. When does Naraka Blade Point come out? I just realized I've been waiting on that game to come out for a while. Well, let me check. Because I'm going to be doing Naraka Blade Point content as well. Is it out already? Oh, it comes out November 3rd. Okay. I thought it was supposed to come out in August, but... I keep seeing Naraka Blade Point global launch in 2 days. Why did I just read a thing that said it comes out? Okay, so it comes out August 12th. Naraka comes out the 12th. Yeah, it gets a global release August 12th on Steam. I really want to. I might start off playing Dead by Daylight, but I'm probably gonna play Naraka. I might play Naraka. I'm probably gonna play Naraka Saturday. I'll play Naraka Saturday. Friday, I'll do Dead by Daylight, and then Saturday I'll do Naraka. It really just depends on how much I enjoy Naraka when it finally comes out. If they fix all the bugs and stuff, because that game is really resource intensive too. Dead by Daylight is not. Also, how much is Naraka? I just realized I'm gonna have to pay for this game when it comes out. And it's not actually free. I've been playing the free beta, but the game itself is probably not free. Sorry, I'm waiting for Steam to load. I'll also show you a little bit of new music. How about that? You guys want to check some new music out? Before I get off. $20. Naraka's only 20. That's not bad. I'm not pre-ordering it, but when it comes out, I'll get it. It comes out August 11th. Okay, Wednesday I'll play Naraka. I'll play Naraka Wednesday, and I'll do Dead by Daylight Friday. Alright, let me show you guys some music I'm working on. Wednesday's your birthday, yep. I might send you something special. From the heart. Alright, y'all ready for this? Hang on. Alright, here we go. So yeah, that's what I got going on right now. I'll show you what track it is if you're not familiar with what that is. And I can actually show it to you because it's video game music, which means it's not copyrighted, so. Show you the whole thing, but yeah, that's it. That's what I got going on right now. So I'm gonna make for my upcoming EP that I haven't decided a name for yet, or artwork or anything like that. I just know I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put it out. Gotta mix and master it, which is a pain in my ass, but you know, it is what it is. On that note, I gotta go play some jazz on the saxophone before I go to bed, if you catch my drift. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for supporting me and not just coming in my chat to be racist and anti-Semitic. It means the world to me. I appreciate all of your support and love. Shout out to Vulcan. Shout out to Key. Shout out to Big Richie Lizzie. Shout out to Bird. Shout out to Fade Runner for sure. Shout out to iSimp for Mick Gordon. Shout out to I don't know what your name is. It's IDKGF. I'm gonna assume it's I don't know, get fucked. That's what I'm gonna call you. Shout out to Algal, shout out to Jenna, of course, as always. I appreciate y'all. You guys are my A1 day ones. You feel me? Like, you guys have been here, you're coming through from the ground floor. It's DFKGF, so I'm gonna say it's don't fucking know, get fucked. But yeah, y'all, I appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys.